everybody! Welcome back to BnB Anime. I am Blue, that is Brad. Today we are going to be discussing The Promised Neverland Season 2, but before we get into that, what have you been up to, Brad?
Life. I am tired. Everything is going downhill quickly. Work has been an absolute mess. But I got Demon Slayer next Friday. That's just what I got to keep telling myself. Yeah. I'm a week away from being able to go to the theaters. I bought 10 tickets for that, by the way. So there are 10 of us that are going to be going and enjoying Mugen Train together, and I am so excited.
Yeah.
But other than that, the GTA RP server has been a blast. I've been experimenting with my characters and the shenanigans we've been getting into.
Yeah.
So, again, it might feel like a plug at this point, but if you want to play, take part in shenanigans, take part in my streams that go on Echelon RP if you own GTA 5 and download 5M. It's a lot of fun. They're adding so much to it. A lot of it I'm kind of helping them develop the seafood restaurant on the server. I'm going to own and operate it as the Russian mob. That's going to be a fun time. But they're putting so much time and effort into it. It's literally a labor of love at this point. So feel free to play with us, take part in it. Come find me. It's not hard to find me in the Russian accent. I'm only one on server. But yeah, that's pretty much all of my week is consisted of. How about you? What have you been up to this week?
Oh, not much. Not too much. It's kind of hit to what we are considering fake spring here in Canada. So this is the spring before actual spring, because it's due to snow this weekend. But it was like 30 degrees on the deck today, so it was lovely. But yeah, it's not going to last.
Well, that's no fun. But then again, it got down to 0 for y'all last night here, or 32 degrees for us. So it's really weird. The days are kind of warmish, and then there are some days where it's hot. Yeah. It's like it can't distinguish between winter and summer. So it's like there hasn't really been a springtime this year. Yeah. It's been hot
Canada
as fuck
every year.
Or cold as hell.
Yeah,
there's no in
Canada
between.
Every year. Yeah, it's t-shirt weather out there right now. It's lovely. Slight breeze, so you might, if you're like me and you live on the cold side, you might need a light jacket or something when you're in the shade. But when you're in the sun, it's really, really lovely. But yeah, Sunday it's due to snow, so...
So what I'm hearing is that your care package, other than the keyboard, is basically useless to you right now.
I live in a very cold basement. So anything warm and snuggly, I'm good for.
Oh,
anytime,
okay.
Yeah,
Excellent,
anytime of the
excellent.
year.
Splendid.
Yeah, what else did I do? I went snowboarding. We're going to Lake Louise next week, which is super exciting because it's like a much bigger ski resort than the place that we have our season pass at. Lake Louise is a very touristy town and spot. It's known internationally around the world as being like one of Canada's most beautiful locations. Which, note to tourists, if you're coming to Alberta, Lake Louise is really nice, but it is so touristy. I recommend you find somewhere like Emerald Lake, or there's a bunch of other lakes that aren't too far from Lake Louise that are much less touristy, and if you're a hiker or something, they have better trails. So
interesting.
Secret tidbit from a local that Lake Louise is great, but there's a lot of other places as well, and Lake Louise and Banff and places like that are very well known, so people tend to go there a lot. And if you're in the middle of summer, they are very crowded a lot of the time. Parking is hard, you're surrounded by all kinds of other tourists. It's less immersive because you get those buses of people where they're on a bus tour, and then they'll get off for 45 minutes and take a bunch of pictures and go to the gift shop, and then they all get on the bus and drive away again to their next stop, And it's less relaxed. It's more you feel there's a bit of a pressure to take your pictures and go.
So New York City or Tokyo or something like that, essentially.
Yeah, like that, but the mountain version.
The Canadian version.
The Canadian version, yeah. So there's a lot of I still recommend going to them, but I wouldn't recommend if you've got a couple weeks in the mountains, I wouldn't recommend spending your entire time there. I would like go there for a day trip because you're still going to get like all of the landmarks. Like they have stuffed grizzly bears and stuff that you can take pictures with, and so you can do all of the touristy stuff. But I also would recommend, especially if you're a hiker or a rock climber or like a mountain biker or whatever, if you're going in the summer, there's a lot better places to go that have a lot quieter trails elsewhere.
I see.
But Lake Louise has a really, really good ski resort. Thing about it is that it is very expensive compared to the one that we go to normally because it is a top level ski resort. So there's a couple of them over in BC and here in Alberta that are like really well-known ski resorts. They have like all the après skiing stuff as well, so you can go to like the hot springs and I don't know how to describe, like posh skiing, I guess. You go in your furs and you go to a log cabin and it's all very like swish.
So you get to take part in tea sipping, but with the pinky out on this one, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, it's pinky out tea sipping skiing. And of course, me and my dad are just kind of a chuck the snowboard in the back of the Jeep and go to a hill kind of vibe. We're not après ski kind of people. We don't stick around for the after skiing shenanigans. We go home. So we don't normally go out to places like that. Also, it's quite a trek for us. It's like a good few hours drive to go there. So it's something that we try and do like once, twice a season. We're not regular out there, but they have so much good snow, and towards the end of the season like it is now, our hill that we go to on a regular basis, it's getting kind of ropey. There's like trees poking through the snow and long bits of grasses and it's icy in patches and slushy when you get to the bottom. It's looking kind of, worse for wear.
And you are prone to, bumps and bruises and everything else. So
yeah.
It's starting to get a wee bit dangerous for someone who keeps refusing to wear bubble wrap whenever she's going skiing.
That is true. I should probably invest in some good quality bubble wrap. But but Lake Louise gets snow for a lot longer. It's further in the mountains, so it gets snow for a lot longer. And it gets a lot more snow, and they've recently just had a good few inches. But their season's tickets are so expensive. Like, if you want to get a season pass for Lake Louise, you're looking at dropping $1,000.
But like a Canadian season of winter is like 8 months.
Yeah, normally they open around November, like early November, and then May is probably when the inner mountain ones will close.
So I just bullshit my way into being close. It's 7 months.
Yeah.
So that's not bad.
Yeah, no, it's really not. And if you're a regular skier or a regular snowboarder, it's really worth it because, of course, their day passes are like $100 for a day, right? So if you are going 15 times in a season, you've made your money back, right? But we just can't make the trek out. It's too far for us to be able to go out that long.
Oh, yeah, I bet that would be a ropey trip, especially during, like, later winter.
Yeah, I mean, the roads are so good because they're so, like, it's so normal for them to be taken care of. The roads aren't so bad most of the time. Obviously, you get days with bad visibility and black ice and stuff that you do have to obviously be careful of. But, I mean, Canadian roads are pretty dang well taken care of because of the fact that they are so dangerous. So it's not necessarily that. It's things like snow blindness, because a lot of the journey that we're traveling through is flat prairie, and when the side of the road looks exactly the same color as the sky, it's very, I don't know, sketchy. And then of course you're up so early, then you're doing a lot of physical activity, and then you're driving home in the dark. It's a whole situation. It's easier if we could like spend a night there and then go. But again, Lake Louise is a tourist town, and a lot of those other ski hills are... this year, it's not been anywhere near as bad, obviously, because COVID means travel restrictions, so the people that are there are locals. But on a regular year, Lake Louise would have a lot of tourists in the winter as well, because they would be coming for the skiing. So, yeah, it's still booked, and those hotels are expensive. And so, like, for a local, it's just not really worth it. But yeah, we're going next week, and I'm excited because I've only been once or twice to Lake Louise. I've gone to a couple of the hills, but Lake Louise I've only gone once or twice. Next year, we'd like to try and go out to Fernie, which is in BC, and they have a crap ton of snow out there.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of powder. So that'd be nice. But I'm also thinking about breaking out my longboard and trying to see if I've gotten any better at that as my snowboarding has increased in skill.
No, someone's trying to go super fancy for the fancy hill.
Right? Yeah. I want to try and tick them all off. I want to be able to snowboard, to surf, and to skateboard. If I can do all three, then I'm like, yes, I can do this on any surface except air.
I mean, hey, hoverboards
Yeah.
might be a thing.
One day.
Don't knock it till you try it.
I'm just going to be like Aang one day.
I have mastered all of the elements.
Honestly, that's what I
Although,
want.
have you technically mastered all of the elements? Because considering surfing and snowboarding is all done on water.
True. Yeah, there's no fire boarding. I need lava. Lava board, Shark Boy, and Lava Girl.
Yes, why not? Let's
Yeah.
do it. So, are you going to be partaking in any of the hot spring shenanigans while
No,
you're there as well?
I've never been to a Canadian hot spring, and I live so close.
That sucks.
Yeah, it does. It's one of those things that's always been on my, I'm going to do that this winter or this summer, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then you just don't.
That's one of those things. I don't think it would be that great to do in the summer because it's hot.
Mm-hmm.
Although it would probably be relaxing if you did it in the evening.
Yeah.
You're not going to appreciate it as much as you would during the winter.
Yeah. I really want to do it in, Iceland or Greenland or something.
Mm-hmm.
Go up north and do it further north than I already am.
Mm-hmm. There's actually a place in North Carolina called Hot Springs, North Carolina.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to go
You
just
should.
to try it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's traveling and COVID and blah. Although
Yeah.
I do get my final vaccine on the 29th.
Mm.
So while, COVID is still happening, if they're open, it's probably cheap. So I need to go.
Yeah, you should. Speaking of which, did you ever end up having any side effects from your vaccine?
Just super sleepy. That
Mm-hmm.
was it. Dakota got the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which is now on hold, and no one is supposed to get it anymore. And he got a really terrible migraine from it, but that was really all he got from it, was just a bad migraine for the evening that he got it. But so far, the worst that's happened, at least out of the people I know, is extreme drowsiness and, of course, that headache.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to get my dad to get his shingles vaccine at the same time. Because he keeps putting off his shingles vaccine. And I'm like, well, if you're going to go and get a COVID vaccine, just get your shingles one while you're there.
Did he have chickenpox growing up?
Yeah, we all did. All members of the family did.
Yeah, that would be wise.
Yeah. Yeah, because chickenpox vaccines weren't mandatory when I was young.
Really?
So, yeah, in the UK, it just wasn't a thing. So I only got the chickenpox vaccine when I came over here, and I was 14 in high school, and I was getting the hepatitis ones and the, MMR and that kind of stuff when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I then got the chickenpox vaccine, even though I'd filled out a form to be like, yes, I've already had chickenpox. I don't need the vaccine, I'm immune. But they gave it to me anyway, because they're like, better be safe than sorry. And I'm like, okay,
Right.
fine. But yeah, so it wasn't a thing. I don't know if it is a thing now in the UK, but I assume that it just hadn't passed the EU health regulations or something in the same way. I know that it's a whole different ballgame passing a vaccine in Europe than it is out here in North America.
That's interesting, though,
Yeah.
because I had no earthly idea.
Have you
I
had
have no clue
chickenpox?
what's mandatory. No, I did not.
No.
I was very fortunate in that matter.
Yeah, we did we did chickenpox parties when I was young.
One person gets it, so everybody gets
So
it.
the
That
whole
way
class
everybody's
goes.
done with it.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, why not? Just go ahead and get it the fuck over with. That way you have nothing to be scared of. Because once you get chickenpox, you don't get it again.
Yeah, in theory. I know a couple of people that have had it a couple of times, but usually in that case, it's the first time they only had a very mild case.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, my brother got it, so I got it. The whole school got it. It was very itchy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main thing I remember. I don't remember, I know I had a fever at one point and I was sick, but the main thing I remember was just, bathing in
Yeah, calamine.
calamine, the pink stuff, just bathing in that.
Mhm.
And I got it during the summer, and I remember it being so hot and, trying to sit in a cold bathtub to try and, alleviate the itches and the heat of the day. Because, of course, British houses don't have AC or anything because they're all pretty much historical buildings. So, so yeah, I was in like this Victorian house dying of heat.
Which, funnily enough that you say that, because cold water isn't actually going to alleviate the itching. It's going to be hot water.
Yeah.
Because it's weird, because for some reason, if, like, whenever I get really bad poison ivy, I'll take the hottest shower I can possibly stand, and it'll, like, I guess, numb the itching for a while. Which, I mean, I've never had chicken pox, but I've had some really fucking bad cases of poison ivy. So, close enough. Except I've had it multiple times.
Yeah, I've never had poison ivy, so I can't compare the two. But I have had eczema all down my legs, and it was very similar to that kind of like, well, sores. but yeah, it's that kind of like healing itch, the scabby itch. That's not fun. I have a couple scars, but not too bad. I didn't get scarred anywhere near as bad as some people.
Yeah, I've seen some people that have had some really bad scars from it.
I guess I got it young enough to where my skin was able to, like, bounce back.
Maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know how that works.
No, I don't really either. I was, like, 6, I think, when I had it. My brother was about 8. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no clue. I don't understand science. That's why I have Dr. Stone. Speaking of, the next season has actually been announced of that. I'm surprised we didn't talk about that last week, but I guess it wasn't in the proper news sections that I was going through. So, funnily enough, that has a 3rd season announced, but The Promised Neverland does not.
Yeah, I think we both... is this a spoiler? I don't know if this counts as a spoiler, but I think it's fairly certain that there is not going to be any more The Promised Neverland content after this season.
I would bet you $5 Canadian there's not going to be another season after this.
That's like 2 Tim Hortons.
Unless they reboot it.
That's 2 double doubles.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Or, you know, it's like 2 toonies and a loony. I don't know.
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh, look at me. I can do Canadian money math.
Yeah.
Oh, the amount that...
I don't use cash, so I had to, like, double check that in my brain for a second. But I was like, yeah, no, that's correct.
2 + 2 + 1 = fish.
Right? Did you ever do that thing where it was like 1 + 1 = window?
No. Although I could see it, it makes sense because 1 and then put the other one perpendicular and it makes a window. So
so it's like sense. The 1, the plus sign in the middle, then the other one, and then the equals on the top and the bottom makes a square with a cross in the middle. The window.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about something at work the other day, and it's just because, again, everything has been an absolute shit show. So my boss was talking about something, and I was just like, dude, at this point, I don't give a shit. 2 + 2 = fish. Do what you want. And he was like, shut up. You're right, but shut up.
Yeah. But it's like that expression, what's that got to do with the price of fish?
Never heard that.
Okay, that's a British one for you.
Well, we also don't... I'm assuming that would have to do with, like, if you're used to fish markets or something like that.
Yeah, it's a coastal saying, I'd expect. You might actually hear it if you go to, like, Rhode Island or somewhere. Where's places on the coast in America?
The whole East Coast, except for here.
There you go. Places, where there's, like, the original settlers on that settled down. You probably hear it there. But basically it just means, what does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, I mean, I get the gist of it. It makes sense. Yeah. But I've just never heard that.
Yeah. What's that got to do with the price of fish? What did I make you laugh with the other day? Bless your cotton socks.
I mean, I end up using that all the time now. Just because it humors me at this point.
It's like, oh. Bless your cotton.
Aw. Yeah, bless your cotton socks.
Yeah.
But I can't remember what it was that broke me the other day.
No.
But can we talk about that Inosuke piggy bank, though?
Oh my god, yes! Yeah, you have to describe this for the listeners.
So, for those who are unaware, Funimation is selling an Inosuke piggy bank, which is Inosuke's mask, but you insert the coins through the nostrils.
Yeah.
So Blue came up with the idea that this would be a phenomenal job as a coin token thing to take tokens on all of the arcade machines, whereas I think it would be a better idea if you reverse engineered it to the coin giver so it spits out coins through the nose. Yeah,
I think that's amazing. I think that's such a good idea. I would crack up.
Oh, I would too. So we need to open an anime-themed arcade, and that needs to be all of our token dispensers. And we need to find something that's actually a token acceptor, because it wouldn't be as funny if it was the acceptor and the giver.
Yeah.
Oh, we could do like little koi to be the coin acceptor. That's an idea. It's not funny, but it's an idea.
We need to think of something that projects stuff that we would then put stuff in.
Give us your idea in the comments if you want to give us ideas, because the marketing brain of me does not work.
Oh, it could be like
the marketing genius out of the bunch.
Someone from Food Wars or something, and their mouths open.
Yes. Who is the childhood best friend? I don't remember. It's been a while since we've watched Food Wars, and she was barely mentioned like 3 times.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I can't remember either. You know what? We'll get back to you if we figure something out for that.
Yeah.
Also, if you're looking for me to segue into news, I have no news. It's been a really fucking slow week.
Yeah.
So,
well, you did have the one piece of news. The Stone Wars.
I mean, I didn't even consider that news, considering I'm like 2 weeks behind on it.
Yeah. It's a late
But at this point, we've already talked about it. We're excited for the 3rd season. We want to know where they go with it. Hopefully, they bounce back from the 2nd season.
Yeah.
However, if we want to talk about disappointments of a 2nd season, ooh boy, do we have something to talk about this week.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So, very interesting way of doing the manga. And I feel like they could have done something very simple to have made the last episode better.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm excited to get into you with after we put on spoiler chicken hats. But do we have any background?
So, it is the 2nd season ran for 11 episodes and a special 5.5 recap episode.
Mm-hmm.
It ran from January 8th through March 26th of this year. I did a little bit of research into it to see kind of what other info we could get on it.
Yeah.
And so the only thing that was properly adapted was the forest arc.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And then from there, they kind of split it all off after that.
Yeah.
And even then, so what they adapted into 2 episodes was chapter 38 through 52.
Okay.
So that's another reason why it felt rushed. And I'm not going to lie, they could have made that whole forest arc a season or a core.
Yeah, I think they just wanted to.
But we'll get into
conclude it. I do want to just check in there that there is a new trigger warning. Or I guess it's still a continuous trigger warning from the 1st season, but it is more prevalent in this 2nd season. So just skip forward a couple of seconds if you think that the trigger warning may spoil something for you. Because, yeah, like I said, it is a new trigger warning. So I'm just going to put on trigger warning for episode 11 for suicide.
Yeah, that makes sense for as like a new trigger warning.
Yeah.
Because I guess self-sacrifice versus that are 2 vastly different things.
Yeah.
Same thing, but different.
Yeah, so I just wanted to be extra cautious and put that out there. This one is, I think the 1st season was also rated R17+. This one is rated though, so
everything after the forest arc, they kind of kept themes and a couple of plot points, but everything else after that just went fucking sideways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the first couple of episodes, great. Everything else, just imagine watching a film like a VHS, because you know how you could watch it while it was rewinding or fast forwarding?
Yeah.
Imagine that, just for like a 2-year story arc, just fast forward, because that's basically what that was.
I just thinking about the fact that kids of like probably only born 5 years after I was will never know the pain of having to rewind tape before you put it back in the case, or like picking a movie and being so excited to watch a movie and putting it in the thing and then realizing that it's at the end of the film and you have to rewind it all the way to the beginning.
See, I've had situations like that, and I remember the old Blockbuster signs
yeah,
that like, be kind, rewind.
Yeah.
Yes. So I totally remember that. And if you're young enough to not remember that, why are you listening to this? Because we, it's marked explicit for a reason.
No, but that's the thing, is that like 5 years younger than me is 18.
I forget how old you are.
Yeah, 23, dude.
I forget that you're like 2.5 years younger than I am.
Yeah, you're the same age as my brother.
That is right.
Mm-hmm.
I am old man. Or at least I feel like an old man. Every time I get up, I just hear my knees just going.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, pain.
Yeah. But yeah, like, it's still, I wasn't born that long beforehand, but the fact that kids that were born in 2000 are 21 this year fucks me up, dude.
Yeah, that's something I keep forgetting. Like, whenever you see someone that's like 18, they're like, yeah, I was born in like 03. And I'm like, excuse me?
Excuse me? What?
Like, I don't understand. Like, run that by me again. Just one more time.
Just one more time? Tell me that again? Yeah, I know. It's really weird. Because I'm like the first of the Zoomers. Like, I am the very first year. The almost debatable year where people are like, are you a Zoomer? Are you not? But I am on most sites classified as a Zoomer. And like, I look at the other kids of my generation and I'm like, whoa.
Well, I mean, you're at the start of the scale.
Yeah.
So as you get later into the scale, that's, you can't lump yourself in with the later ends of the spectrum.
Yeah. Whereas you're a baby millennial.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So it's weird because I remember like just how much technology has like fully progressed in my lifetime to where like I still get scarred whenever I hear the dial-up sound.
Yeah, see, I don't remember
dial-up. I get flashbacks whenever I hear it.
Yeah, my brother remembers dial-up, but I don't remember dial-up.
You kids, you got it easy nowadays. You cut your PC on and click Google Chrome and it immediately pops up.
Yeah.
No, back in my day, you young whippersnappers, you had to double click on the Internet Explorer icon because you didn't even have a taskbar you could put it on. So you double click on it.
Yeah.
Then it takes like 5 minutes to pull up the web browser. But then in the meantime, the reason it takes 5 minutes is because you have to listen to this god-awful noise and you couldn't use the phone because cell phones weren't really a popular thing and then nobody could use the phone. So if somebody wanted to use the phone, you had to get off the internet. So if you're playing cool math games, you had to stop what you were doing, stop your cool math games so somebody could use the phone.
You know what I learned the other day? My mom was a subscriber of Netflix way back in the day when they were a VHS delivery service.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I also remember Gamefly. Do you remember Gamefly?
No, I don't.
So Gamefly was a video game rental service to where they would deliver you video game discs.
Ah, dude.
So you could rent them. So it was like Blockbuster, but delivery.
Do you remember back in the day when you used to get like crappy DVDs or audiobooks or whatever in cereal boxes?
Yes. Oh my God. I got like a shitty version of Roller Coaster Tycoon in a cereal box.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I played the shit out of it. God, I remember playing like the old Mall Tycoons and Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Or Zoo Tycoon, yeah.
Yes. But if I tried to play those same games now, I would hate my life.
Oh God, trapping people and watching them get sad.
Yes. And that's the thing. They would just get sad. It's not like The Sims where if you trap them and they die. No, they just keep making angry faces and make your reviews go way down.
Your park.
Yes.
Like if you trap them in and left like a food stand, they'd just stay there.
Or like you would make roller coasters that couldn't be completed, so you would just watch roller coasters just get yeeted.
Yeah.
It's such a great time, man. Those are the good old days.
Right? Anyway, let's get into the Promised Neverland before we go on another tangent.
What? We go on tangents here? Excuse me?
I don't know, man. I think we stay on track all the time.
Yes, we 100% do. Don't add us in the comments.
We stay as on track as those roller coasters from Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Yes, 100%. So, first topic of interest. The OP and ED.
Are we going to put spoiler chicken hats on first?
Sure,
just in case. Spoiler chicken hats are on then.
Yeah, so spoiler chicken hat, put them on because we about to start talking. So if you haven't seen it and you have seen the first season, I think it's worth a watch.
Yeah.
Like, it's not bad.
It definitely gives you a incentive to read the manga.
Mm-hmm.
Is it based on a light novel?
There is a light novel, but I don't know how based on it is. I think the manga is the main pre-source of information.
Yeah. It definitely gives you incentive to read the manga. So if you're a big manga reader and you don't know whether or not you're going to like it and you want to kind of get a feel for it first, watching the show is a good idea. If you like the first season, I would recommend giving the second season a watch. Just don't place your bets on it because it's different because of the way that they had to structure it, because in my opinion, corporate got involved.
Mm-hmm. So here's the thought. Do you think we would have been as harsh on this if we weren't looking at it with podcast brain?
I think I would still be pretty harsh on it considering how they did it. Like, I feel like they managed to do a pretty good job of keeping it, like, linear. Like, there is definitely a plot line.
Mm-hmm. Like, it was very linear. It's just...
There's a lot of time skips.
One of my biggest thing that pisses me off is rushing arcs.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of my biggest frustration with the season, is just how rushed everything was, because you had two to 3 seasons worth of content in one season. Like, the forest arc could have been a whole core. Mm-hmm. The town arc could have been a whole core. The
Norman
storming the farms
at least
arc.
Been a few OVAs.
At least.
His backstory, yeah.
You could have made a film out of that.
Yeah, agreed.
And then the storming of the farms could have been an entire core.
Yeah.
And each core is 12 episodes, so that's 3 seasons plus a film.
Yeah, I really feel like corporate got involved, and as they were making, like, the first, I feel like after maybe episode 3 or 4, somebody said, hey, you're not getting more, you're not getting a season 3, and then the writers and animators and everything started to panic a little bit and try and figure out what they were going to do, and so the first few episodes seem really planned and well done, but after that, I'm not going to say that they're not well done or not planned, because the animation doesn't go down and the storytelling doesn't go down in quality. It just, they were trying to cram so much in that so much small stuff had to be skipped. A lot of big stuff, I'm assuming, had to be skipped that they just didn't include in the anime at all, and you wouldn't even know it existed unless you read the manga.
Mm.
And then there's a few characters in there that go through very quick turnarounds. They have, like, a really solid idea of what their morals are, and then within an episode, they have completely 180'd their opinion, and it's kind of, I would say jarring, but it just doesn't give you enough time to be fully satisfied with their opinion one way for then it to immediately flip. So when it does flip, it doesn't give you the emotional release that it would do if you would watch them have that solid opinion over 6 episodes, and then on the 7th episode they change their mind and then you're a bawling, crying mess.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't give you that because you didn't have enough time for them to change their mind.
Yeah, because, like, the whole Norman situation, if they had made that into a film, or just that whole, like, town arc, if they had made that into a season, I probably would have cried at the end of it. Mm-hmm. Because it just pulls at your heartstrings.
Yeah, but it doesn't get you there because it's too rushed.
No. I guess the main thing is that, I guess I'm glad it happened this way, because I don't have to be disappointed for any other reason than just how rushed everything was. Mm-hmm. Because there wasn't enough to keep me focused. And honestly, I'm glad I dropped it.
Yeah.
So that way I wouldn't have been disappointed. Because I had been watching this week to week, I'd have been more mad than what I was. Mm-hmm. And it would have been a lot more jarring. Could you imagine, like, how much shit got skipped to have to watch that week to week?
Yeah, I don't know. The content of this show is pretty heavy, so it's difficult to binge in that way, just because, like, you need a break, a palate cleanser every now and again. But I also wouldn't recommend watching 1 episode a week, because you will kind of, I won't say lose track, but I feel like it will be a lot harder to understand everything because of the fact that so much is skipped. So it's like, you have to kind of infer a lot and read between the lines a lot and try and, like, fill in plot holes. I'm not saying that there's plot holes, because there aren't really. They do explain everything, but, like, because of the time skips, the character development and emotional connection you have with the characters has holes. So then you as a viewer have to then infer what their emotions were through those times and the things that they've gone through to then be able to relate to the way that they act later. Does that make sense?
Well, I mean, as frustrated as I was with Attack on Titan's 4th season, because we all know how I feel about that, at least it wasn't as fast-forwarded as this.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, because going into the 2nd season, I was as hyped as could possibly be.
Yeah.
Going into it, because the 1st season was just immaculate in every way. And very worthy of, what did we give it, like a 9 or a 9.5?
Yeah, and it was honestly worthy of it.
Oh, 100%.
It was so thought-provoking.
It was, and it kept us guessing. Mm-hmm. This whole season was as predictable as could humanly be.
Yeah.
Like, whenever they were setting up the raid and it seemed like Vincent had turned on everybody.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, he's 100% in with everyone.
Yeah.
Like, that's garbage. Like, the next season, you're going to see, like, Norman or Emma and Ray standing next to him whenever he's making the call. Like, there was the only thing that caught me off guard was Norman.
Yeah.
But even then, it didn't catch me off guard because of the OP.
No. Well, it didn't. Yeah, okay, we need to discuss the OP and ED because we said we were going to and then skipped over it.
Yep.
But yeah, we both had theories that Norman was still around at the end of the first season.
Mm-hmm.
We just didn't know in which way that he was going to come back. But I feel like in the manga, I don't know if this is true or not, but I feel like Norman and the characters that he was around and his story is probably a whole separate thing that I don't know if it was going simultaneously with Emma and the others or if it was like a jump thing and then there was a lot of flashbacks.
I was going to say, I would assume it would be a flashback thing because it was left to assume that they had killed off Norman.
Yeah.
I mean, even though we had theories that he was still alive and he would be introduced later, I didn't expect him to come back in the second season.
No. And he shouldn't have come back in the second season if they were pacing it the same way that the manga had.
I don't know, man. It was just a really odd situation.
Yeah. But, okay, OPED.
So, OP, music, good. I enjoyed it. ED, music, also good. The story that they told with the OP, not a fan.
No.
Because, I mean, for one, all of the imagery in this whole season just gave the sense that there was going to be, like, this huge war. But also that characters that were introduced to at the end of episode 1 and you spend all of episode 2 with, they make it out like they're the bad guys in the whole scenario.
Yeah.
And they're not at all. Like, the promotional poster made it seem like they're the two biggest assholes in the world. And they're not even in the slightest. Like, honestly, besides Emma, who's like our lovable Goku of the story, like 100% it's Goku. Holy fuck. Why did I just not make that connection? The orange and the orange? Ah, it's perfect. Anyway, back on point. It's just, I don't know, man.
Oh, that's another thing. With like Sonju,
Mm-hmm.
in a moment when he leaves the kids, like the kids go off on their own, he has a moment of like, no, I want them to be wild so I can hunt them.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's a good guy again after that. And it was just like the second of him being a bad guy. And it just seemed really out of place.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, it made sense.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's never revisited is what gets me.
That's the thing. Yeah, it's like, it would have been fine if he had then done something a little bit, like if he'd become like an anti-hero or something, where it's like you don't quite know throughout the rest of it if he's a good guy or a bad guy. But up until that point, he had been a good guy. Then he says that one line, and then for the rest of the time that he's in the show, he's also a good guy. So it just seems really misplaced. And I feel like I'm assuming in the manga, there's more like back and forth with him.
God, I hope so.
Yeah.
Because, dear Lord, I just want to go back and read the manga.
Yeah, that's what this show has sparked with me. It's just like, I just want to read the manga now.
We should do an episode where we read the manga.
We
We can find it on Viz since I'm paying for it. We need to
use it more.
We need to see if it's on there just so we can see, because fucking hell, mate.
Yeah.
I have so many questions.
Yeah.
And I'm just so dissatisfied with everything.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the only satisfaction I get from this is that it's fucking over. And that sounds so bad because I found myself enjoying it at points, but it also pissed me off that I was enjoying it just because of how rushed everything was.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a couple scenes in particular that I want to get into about characters and like why I feel that was kind of like awkward. And then the very last episode I really want to dive into properly, but let's just go through episode by episode a little bit just to get our thoughts going.
Yeah.
So in episode 1, the group starts off right where we left off. They're running through the forest and they are relying on a book from Minerva to teach them how to survive. There's the big screechy teeth monster thing. Emma gets sick, Ray gets separated, and then they all get saved by the two guys that you were talking about earlier, Sonju and Mujika. So what were your first impressions of the first episode? Which I know was a few weeks ago for you, but yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I haven't seen the first 2 episodes in 4 months.
Yeah.
But it was, like, I enjoyed it because it kicked off great.
Yeah.
Like, how they wake up in the tunnels. And just immediately you get a twist of Emma and Ray being like, you two are demons.
Yeah.
And that's how the episodes end. I was like, oh, fuck, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had really good first impressions of the show, and that's what got me really excited. But then I was watching so many weeklies in winter that it just I just had to drop it. I had to drop something, and it was just the main thing because the second episode is where things kind of started to derail slightly.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it made the most sense to drop it out of everything else that I was watching.
Yeah.
But the first episode, man, I was hooked again.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to admit, the first episode started off on a good foot for me as well. I immediately got thrust back into the horror, dark, gloomy vibe. The anime style very, very quickly puts you in the perspective of how terrified these kids are.
Mm-hmm.
The way that they do the eyes, the wrinkles around the eyes, the shocked facial features, the overblown eyes. I mean, anime characters have big eyes anyway, but I feel like these guys have smaller features and astronomically large eyes to be able to portray their fear most of the time.
Mm-hmm. And that's one thing I will say about the animation style about this show. The first season, like, I had absolutely zero complaints about the animation style whatsoever. The second season, it felt like it dipped in animation quality a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad, by any means. The environments were phenomenal, but I feel like they lost a lot of character detail in it.
Yeah.
Or like something changed about it. I'm not 100% certain what it was, but something just fell off.
Yeah, could have possibly been COVID related.
Maybe. But the animation of the facial features, like especially with fear, like just excellent. I have zero complaints about it whatsoever.
Agreed.
But it was like something else about it just like diminished in quality. But again, the backgrounds, the forest, the town, gorgeous.
Yeah, I do think the show is very dark, so it's difficult to watch if you're in any kind of lighting.
Oh, I could definitely see that.
Yeah, like I was trying to watch it in my bedroom. My bedroom's in the basement. I had my lights off and I was trying to watch it there, but because it was daytime, there was a glare on my laptop screen, you know? So that is one thing. That's a frustration that I have for all horror movies, though, for all horror content, is the vast majority of them are set in, like, 80% of the screen is black most of the time. And it's very, very hard to see stuff, and I prefer when you see things, because there's moments in the show where there's really good contrast, and it still feels dark and scary and gloomy, and you know, it puts you on edge, but you can actually see shit when you're in your house. So that's just a personal pet peeve of mine with all kind of horror content, is I don't like it when the screen is black for a long period of time. My mum, for instance, has a cataract. She's had one fixed, but the other one she hasn't. Huge fan of horror films. Whenever she's watching a horror film or any kind of movie that has a screen that is black for more than like 5 minutes at a time, she'll just skip through it. She just skips through the content, and then she tries to watch a bit, and then if it goes black again, then she'll just click off the film. It's like a huge thing. I was like, I can't see anything. It's not visible. So.
Yeah, it's one of those things to where it's like whenever you try to play a horror game during the day, it's different than trying to play it at night because you can't enjoy it or get immersed in it as much.
Yeah.
And so I can definitely see it. And I like how the first few episodes, like, it's even darker than how the series ended. And again, that's something else that gets you hyped until, you know, everything kind of starts to lighten up a bit. Or I feel like the sense of urgency was lost from like episode 2 on, in a way.
Yeah, I don't know exactly when, but I agree. I feel like in the storyline there was a kind of plateau moment where it was like scary, 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 and then after a little while it kind of wasn't anymore.
I think the shelter, actually. So episode 3 is whenever I was kind of like, huh. And you know it's just going to be temporary, too. I don't know. We'll talk about it whenever we get to the shelter
Yes.
because I have a bone to pick with a certain bit of it, but we'll get there.
Yeah, okay. So episode 2 is the 1,000 year promise. So basically we find out how this world came to be and where the humans are. Emma getting told to take care of herself, Ray getting told to take care of himself as well, the two of them. And the demons teaching them to survive, all of the new techniques, and then Emma also getting her hunting practice and killing her first thing, taking her first life. Then we go into episode 3, which is the Sonju explaining his one-liner about wanting to eat natural humans. They then separate from them, they find the underground building shelter, and they radio into the house calls to listen to them, and they also get a phone call from William that you don't actually get to find out more about until episode 4.
The people who found the payphone for the phone call was Emma, Ray, Dawn, and Gilda, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Whereas a few of the younger kids found a bedroom that had help carved multiple times into the wall in blood.
And then nothing comes of it.
Never fucking mentioned again. Like, oh my god. Like, it was with that episode where I thought, oh shit, episode 4 is going to be hyped.
Yeah.
And then nothing.
Yeah, because that's what I'm thinking. Because now I'm thinking, episode 3, somebody's been trapped in this thing. Somebody, or like they're gonna come across a corpse of someone who just like withered away and died within this whole thing, or they're gonna get locked in it, or the person who's calling them is actually Mama or something. Like, I don't know. Like, it left you on a whole lot of questions. And then with Sonju also having his one-liner about him wanting to eat the natural humans, because his whole point of not eating the kids was because of religious reasons. He doesn't want to hunt anything that's been farmed. He wants to hunt things that are living wild, which is kind of the reason why I'm vegetarian, so I get it. And then nothing comes of either of those. Episode 3 was just plot holes.
Just nothing but plot holes. However, one of the plot holes with Sonju is kind of tied up a little bit just because of how he likes to hunt the migratory birds. Mm-hmm. And it's like his favorite meal. So that kind of makes the turnaround in later episodes.
Yeah.
But the latter part, I guess, with there not being a third season, we'll never get to see.
Yeah. Yeah. So then in episode 4, we learn out that William was actually an alias. And I think it's, what's his name? James? John? I can't remember. I did write it down.
I think it was James Rattery.
Yeah. And 6 months pass. The shelter then gets raided. And this is when we find out that Isabella is back. And everyone escapes the shelter. And then Big Dude comes out and munches some people.
Nom 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 nom
nom nom nom.
Like the kids were about to get cornered and captured, and then the giant spider-like demon that we met in the first episode that died, there's another one.
Yes.
And he noms the guards so the kids can conveniently get away.
Yeah. And the guards were human.
So you have humans who are hunting down the children at the behest of the demons.
Yes.
And then, of course, you see Isabella in a jail cell, which, why she's not dead is baffling to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's because of the fact that she was one of the most intelligent and sought after, and like all of her kids were the best, and she raised like the best brains.
Mm.
So they wanted to try and use her in some way, and if she could get the kids back, then they wanted to use her. But it's never really like she's not really. I don't know if it's just that they didn't. I feel like the villain was so heartless that he would have just killed her and gotten them back himself. You know, like I don't feel like he would have doubted his own way of. I feel like he was too self-absorbed to have her as a backup plan, because I feel like he would have felt that he would have been able to do it by himself.
Not only that, but I feel like had everything played out the way that it should have, whenever they first introduced Isabella, it was a brilliant bit of foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Because they asked, if she wanted to see the kids again. And, like, you just see her face tense up, and it's like you can tell, like, she would do anything to see the kids again.
Yeah.
And then it kind of leans to where they want to use her to get the kids back. And it was like, something's not adding up here.
Yeah.
Like, it was really weird. And again, what should have been a brilliant bit of foreshadowing was a, like, very predictable move.
Yeah. So then, another 6 months pass. 1 year since they escaped the original house. And they have started to blend in with the demons, walking in town. This was very abrupt. But, well, I mean, a year has passed in 2 episodes, so...
And the only character development Emma has seen is that her hair is now in a little bitty side braid.
Yes. It shows, like, a small montage of them, like, grinding herbs and, like, checking storage and stuff like that, but it doesn't explain how they find their shelter. It doesn't show their first trip into the village. It doesn't show them first figuring out how to interact with demons, first testing their interacting with demons. It doesn't show them disguising their scent. It doesn't show them building the masks. There's so much content that is kind of missed that then when they all of a sudden are demons walking through the village, it feels abrupt.
Oh, very much.
Yeah. And then 2 of the little ones want to go into the village as well, and they almost get caught, and they find Norman. They run into Norman again. There's a big chase scene, Norman. And this is all in 1 episode. 6 months pass, and then Norman in 1 episode.
And again, seeing Norman so soon was a shock.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, something's wrong here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Isabella is obviously out to try to catch the kids. Norman's a spy.
Yeah, I didn't know if Norman was legit Norman or not, or if he hadn't been, like, tampered with or something, because they're very vocal in this anime about the fact that they manipulate brains and bodies and stuff. So it was one of those moments of, is Norman really Norman, you know? And then, of course, they chuck you in a 5.5 recap episode, so if you were watching that week to week, fuck you.
Yeah, I'd have been real pissed.
Yeah. Because, like, he appears in the last few seconds of the episode and then recap next week. No.
And it wasn't like a COVID recap. Like, this was middle of February this year.
Yeah, it was like a animators need a break recap.
Yeah, I could probably
they all
see
went on
that.
vacation.
But again, it was on the 11th episode.
Yeah.
Like, I could have been fine without that. Just take a week off. Don't give us a recap episode.
Yeah, I find it unusual that there's a recap in a 1 core show.
Like, it makes sense if it was like a 2 core and you're using it as a break.
Yeah.
Like, if they had done it in between episodes like 3 and 4, that also would have been fine. But you don't do it after the episode where you bring Norman back.
Yeah.
That's a frustrating spot. And I guess I can't be too frustrated with it because I wasn't watching it week to week. But holy shit, man.
Yeah. And
that's a dick move.
especially if you were an avid anime reader of this, like a huge fan of this, you read the anime, you read the light novel, you go to watch the show, you liked the 1st season, you go to watch the 2nd season. It's already straying so much. They've already skipped so much content. And then they chuck a recap episode in. I could have personally seen myself being so frustrated and done that I wouldn't have continued watching the season.
Well, it was around this point that I started to see the anime community start melting on TikTok.
Yeah.
So I watched it start melting.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can absolutely see why. This must have been an incredibly frustrating moment for fans of the series.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So anyway, episode 6 goes into Norman's backstory and where he was at the testing lab. It talks about Norman and his abilities. He's created this potion, this chemical, to be able to degenerate the demons, to turn them into the big, like, 6-legged monsters as opposed to the humanoid versions that they are currently. Emma, although you can also see at the same time, is empathizing with the demons. So while Norman is kill all demons, Emma is, they're just trying to survive like we are. And you can see them about to clash heads. Ray is my favorite. He's such a good character.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm. Norman's new buds are slightly mental. And both Emma and Ray and Norman sit down and they have a discussion. And they discover that Norman knows who Mujika is. He calls her the evil-blooded girl. He didn't realize that she was still alive. And Emma and Ray only know her from their experiences in the forest and her teaching them how to survive. And they see her as a good guy. Norman obviously sees her as a bad guy. So they're butting heads here in episode 6.
Basically, I saw this and felt like the Promised Neverland creators of the show just looked at Attack on Titan and they were like, we're going to steal your homework and just slightly change up the answers.
Yeah.
Because I literally felt like a retelling of Attack on Titan with save everyone and genocide.
Yeah. Isn't that also kind of like, is it Tokyo Ghoul?
Not necessarily.
I'm trying to think there's another...
Because Tokyo Ghoul was more or less Kaneki being like, no, I hate ghouls.
Yeah.
To, okay, I'm fine with ghouls. To, fuck it, I'm killing everyone.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously a very basic plot line, so there's a bunch of things that I'd assume that are like it. But it was very predictable, this episode. Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe not Norman knowing about Mujika. I feel like maybe that was a little bit of a twist. But the Norman being very against demons and then Emma being almost overly empathetic and naive was, it was predictable.
Emma was the typical shonen protagonist in all of this.
Yeah.
And it showed.
Yeah, that's why I feel like I connected so much with Ray and him being my favorite character out of the three, because he was just like, I think you're an idiot, but, you know, it is who you are, so...
I feel like I could have been more on Norman's side if he hadn't have flip-flopped the very next episode.
Yeah, that's and see, that was my point earlier with the whole, like, his whole team were so, like, Barbara was insane against killing demons. And then, like, oh, just kidding. It's fine.
Yeah. The character development was so abrupt that I can't even call it character development.
No, it just made them seem wishy-washy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, again, made it feel like this was definitely going to be the last season because of how quickly they were getting through stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, if this had been the first season, them talking would have been, like, 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't at all.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that Norman's whole, like, backstory and stuff happens so quickly just makes it seem blasé. Like, it's not as...
It's like you can't empathize with him.
No.
Like...
He just seems like a douche.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I don't see how you get to the point of genocide seeing only what we've seen. Like, this dude literally talks about how, like, he is making the decision to become God or the devil and Emma can't stop him. And yet, why?
Yeah, especially considering his main tormentor was human.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, yeah, okay, he was being tormented for the purpose of feeding demons, but the direct people that were the ones that were... Pretty much all of the people in the lab that we saw throughout the anime were humans. So I feel like his anger was misdirected, which could also be the fact that he's like 12 years old. So there is that. You have to bear that in mind. But, like, he's also an evil genius. He knows where this is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
He got...
Like, angsty teen energy does not make up for how smart he is and the decisions that he's making.
Yeah, he was scoring higher than they were physically able to test him.
Like, whenever I was 14, I didn't think about wiping out an entire species. So I don't get it, man.
I don't get it, man. I didn't want to wipe out a whole species. Can't relate. But yeah, then episode 7, we learn more about Mujika's blood, about the fact that she can feed her blood to the demons so that they don't degenerate over time, so that they don't need to eat humans. And then they also end up discussing, like, the hierarchy of everything. And this is when it's kind of brought up that there's, like, a royalty in demons. That the royalty thought that they had killed her 700 years ago so that she wasn't able to make demons unreliant on humans, because them being reliant on humans allowed the monarchy to be able to control their population. Because obviously that gives them, like, you can't do shit because we're not going to give you humans to be able to eat and then you'll die, you know? So, Norman is crazy. He wants them all dead. They also discover about the last gate to the human world, because there's 2 worlds, the demon world, the human world. They're in the demon world right now. And they discover that there's a gate. The gate that they thought was open is closed, and there's only one left. The gate that is open is inside the original building that they were all in to begin with. Well, they were on the outskirts of, but you know.
Mm-hmm.
Norman's sick as well. Barbara is insane. And Norman gives Emma and Ray 5 days to go and find Mujika and Sonju. Or he's gonna, like, blow up a village, basically.
The next episode blows up a village.
Yeah.
Oh my god, man.
Yeah, so in episode 8, we find out that Norman was actually tested even though he claimed that he wasn't tested and that's why he was sick. They find Mujika and Soju. Norman attacks anyways. Norman then wavers. In episode 9, we figure out that Norman actually is like, just kidding, I don't want to kill anybody, and pulls back even though he kind of already killed people. And then Mujika's like, hey, everybody, come vampire out of me. And Isabella and Peter set up a trap with Phil. They're using baby Phil, who we love. He was best boy of first season. They acquired a new pen part from an old grumpy dude who was actually kind of really sweet, like him. And that has a map to the center where, like, it's the map of the big
underground facility under the Gracefield house.
Thank you very much. And this is when we go try and figure out if Scarhead dude, you said his name earlier, I can't remember it.
Vincent?
Yeah. If he is possibly a traitor or not. Is he?
Well, the episode ends with him using the radio that they've been listening to, and he was just like, hey, I want to turn traitor and sell the people out. And then literally cut to the beginning of the next episode, and you see Norman standing next to him the whole time that he does this, and I'm like, I knew this was going to happen. Like, this is bullshit. Like, why? Why would you do this, man?
Well, his opinion is not going to change that fast, because his original opinion was, hate all demons, kill them all. Then his opinion changed to, I stand with Norman. Norman doesn't want to kill demons anymore. And now it's, I'm traitoring against them. It was way too much to happen in, like, a half an episode.
Yeah, like, in the span of 20 minutes, you see so much flip-flopping that you would think it's spring break in Florida. Like, what the fuck?
Boo.
But you get the point.
I get the point. Have you ever done that thing where you, like, Google your birth date and then try and figure out what crazy story happened in Florida at that day?
I feel like I might have done it a long time ago and it had something to do with an alligator, but I don't remember now.
I've never done it. I've always wanted to do it. Where you Google, like, Florida and then the day that you were born and see what crazy stories come up.
You wanna do that as an end bit after we get through this, just to close out the podcast?
That sounds like a good plan. We should do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so then they make a bunch of hot air balloons. They, Phil and the other littles get taken inside the big place. They double cross them, they infiltrate inside, they play tag, they reunite. Yay, everybody's happy again. They get caught, just kidding. Isabella's actually been up to no good, or has she? The villagers are uprising, old dude is awesome, and Emma offers forgiveness. And it's so much in one episode. It's so much.
Yeah, it was not okay.
Yeah. They start the plan at the very end of the last episode. Then they execute the plan, complete the plan, execute the plan, build everything that they need for the plan, start an entire war, have an invasion. The villagers have an uprising. They infiltrate a giant building. They run away from everybody. They reunite with everybody. They almost get caught. Then, just kidding, Isabella was actually on their side the whole time, and so were all of the other mamas. They try and get to the human world, but they get shut out. Then they meet Peter. Then they have he has an evil villain monologue. Then Emma offers him forgiveness and is like, hey, you should come with us anyway. Like, we were all kind of forced into this position. You were raised into the role that you were in. And then he has flashbacks about his brother and stuff. Or maybe that's in the next episode. I'm not sure. But, like, he at least alludes to it all in one episode. In 23 minutes. It was too much.
So much shit. It was too much.
Yeah.
Just get it away.
Yeah, it was way too much. And I don't know. And then the next episode is even more. The next episode goes through, like 100 chapters of manga?
This last episode, the last half of the fucking episode, like, the first half of the episode very well could have been an episode on its own.
Yeah.
But the second half of the episode we thought was leading to a third season. No.
Yeah, it was the third
season. An entire
season.
Third season's worth of content was given to us in 10 fucking minutes, man.
Oh my god. It wasn't just the third season, it was the third season, the fourth season, and the fifth season in one episode.
Yeah, like, it was so much. So you get to the middle of the episode and Phil is still like 5 years old. By the end of the episode, Phil is like 14.
Yeah.
If that tells you how much time was skipped in this episode.
It's ridiculous.
Where did that giant dragon demon come from in like the last 5 minutes? Like, I can't.
In my opinion, yeah, I don't know. We'll get into it after we've discussed it. But yeah, episode 11. Trigger warning at the beginning of episode 11 because Peter kills himself.
Yep.
But yeah, he also talks about how he killed his brother, why he did it, he gets his backstory. They all go with Mama to the human world. Well, they go to the gate to go to the human world. But then Emma, Ray, Norman, and the experimented group, except for Vincent, choose to stay. And then everybody else goes. But not, like, poor Phil reunites with Emma. The previous episode has a sobbing reunion. She pieces out the next episode.
That was whenever I just got mad.
Yeah.
At that point. Like, that made me so mad. So whenever Phil hears Emma's voice over the intercom and he starts crying in, like, episode 8 or 9, like, I got emotional. Like, that was so much. Like, Phil is best boy. 10 out of 10 best boy. And then seeing that, like, I'm heartbroken over that, man.
Yeah, because he's like, on, like, Norman's level of brain intelligence, like there's any other kind. Except he's just a lot younger. So, I don't know. It's like, that was a lot. But Gilda and Don and the Littles all say that they're going to go to the human world to prepare for them for when they finally come back. Yeah, because the guys want to stay so that they can then change the demon world and save the other children from the other farms. And then there is a photo montage. And then, like, short little silent clips until the reunited scene at the very end. And, yeah, the photo montage takes up a long time, and it takes up probably about 4 years of a time span, if I'm estimating. Yeah. And I just don't get it.
Neither do I. It was not a fun watch, man.
Yeah, I think, I mean, obviously, what they were going for here was getting all of the content from the manga into the show because they haven't been approved for a season 3. They made that very clear for this last episode.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why they didn't go up to the gate, open the gate doors, have the screen flood white like it already had, and leave it on a cliffhanger. And then just say, no season 3.
I would have been fine with that, instead of literally wrapping up a whole season in one episode.
Yeah, because then the people who read the manga will know that it continues on and that Ray and Emma and Norman stayed behind. But the people who didn't read the manga get a happy ending of them going to the human world. I feel like that should have just been where it ended. Or, in my opinion, if they wanted to do that, okay, fine, they could have left it there, white screen flash, roll the credits, then have the photo montage, the rest of the scene and the photo montage. Because,
like, that could have been the ED. Just put that over the ED music.
Yeah, I would have been fine with that. That's because then that's for the people for the manga. That's like a little extra tidbit for them to be like, you're not getting any more content. We're sorry that it hasn't been approved for a season 3. So here's a little bit extra to just kind of visualize what you were hoping that it would be. And it's like a little gift for the people that read the manga, you know? I don't think it needed to be at the end of the show to wrap it all. I feel like they should have wrapped it up and then had that.
And then to get an ED at the end of it too.
Yeah.
It was not fun, man.
No.
Not fun at all.
I mean, would it have been so bad to have, like, had all of this come out, not had a 5.5 recap episode, and then have episode 12 be the photo montage and have it be like a 10-minute short? It's just the photo montage specifically for the people with the manga.
Yeah, like, done it as an OVA or anything like that. Like, stretch out the first half of that episode to make it a full episode.
And then have an 11.5.
Where it just ends with the go white.
Yeah.
And then, 11.5 is just the second half of that episode.
Yeah.
I would have been fine with that.
Yeah, me too.
Like, 100% no complaints. And I probably would rate it higher than what I'm going to rate it if they had done that.
Yeah, I don't understand why they chose that choice, because I don't feel like that's a lot more work. In fact, I feel like that could be less work.
Yeah, like, they could have reused some of the old scenes from the first half of episode 11, drug out the dialogue, kept the voice actors a little bit longer, because they already had them anyway. It would not have been that hard.
Yeah, space out episode 10 and 11 a little bit better. And then just have the 11.5 not be that. I don't know. I feel...
5.5.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to give it like a 5.5 because I'm angry. But the animation is still really good. And animation this year specifically has not been top form. So I feel like I'm a little bit more lenient with that because we've recently covered quite a few shows where the animation has been very poor at times.
Mm-hmm.
OP and ED were fine. I preferred the ED to the OP.
See, I preferred the music of the OP. I preferred the visuals of the ED. So they both had qualities that I really liked. The ED music was still good. The OP was more of a banger for me, and it's kind of suited the first season, even though first season's OP was an absolute banger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually preferred the music of the ED better.
I've still really enjoyed the music of the ED.
Agreed.
In fact, I need to search for it so I can download it onto my phone because I enjoyed it that much.
Yeah.
Just because I'm a big fan of like J-pop ballads.
Yeah.
Like J-pop ballads are my shit, man. Like I just love sad Japanese music. I love sad music in general. That's why I listen to country music. Anyway, the only reason, like the good points that you mentioned is the only reason it's getting a 5.5.
Yeah.
Like there was so much about it. There were so many of my pet peeves that it pushed. I can't give it any higher because although I had a good time watching some bits of it, just because of how much they rushed it, I feel like I was deprived at least half the content that I should have gotten. Therefore, I'm depriving them half the grade they should have gotten.
Yeah.
It's retaliation, even though what we say here means absolutely nothing to the people at Cloverworks that make this shit. Cloverworks is probably one of the biggest animation companies in Japan. Mm-hmm. Fuck them. 5.5.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to give it a 6. I'm going to be slightly more lenient than you. Mainly, yeah, I don't know what's making me sit on a 6. I feel like, I don't know. Oh, one thing that I did notice.
I honestly sat on a 6 most of the time until I sat down and thought about it. I was like, fuck them, 5.5.
One thing I did notice is that they actually included some real healing herbs in the montage. Mm-hmm. They had St. John's wort, which is one thing that I actually have studied in my herbalism books, which I thought was fun. I like the fact that they used actual real human earth plants. Mm-hmm. I don't know, just a tidbit that I saw. It's a real thing. On here on myanimelist.net, it's rated a 5.74, scored by nearly 200,000 users.
So it's literally split between you and I.
It is 100%.
So that's fitting.
It is very fitting.
Very fitting.
Yeah, and that is specifically for the second season here. So
what did the first season get per chance?
I shall look it up.
I'm assuming probably like high 7 or low 8, if I had to take a guess.
8.63.
Oh, a little bit higher than I would have thought.
Yeah, and that was rated by nearly 800,000 users.
Interesting.
It's ranked number 62 overall.
Oh. I mean, with it being an 8.6, yeah, I can 100% see that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really well loved. The second season, not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second season was definite flop. And it's not that it was that bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's just they skip so much that I'm very dissatisfied watching it.
Yeah, I agree. I feel honestly, in my opinion, money or corporate or someone got involved. Some accountant somewhere was like, nah, you're not doing a third season. Sucks to be you. And then the animators were like, what the fuck do we do?
100%. I can see that. Or the director was just like, speed run.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know if it's as popular in Japan as it is over here, because I know that the first season was super popular over here, which might have been enough for them to have decided to do a second season if it wasn't popular in Japan.
Yeah.
But it might not have been enough for them to push for a third.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Florida.
Oh, I've already got you, fam. I pulled this up, so I've already got your birthday and my birthday.
Oh, okay. I want to see.
All right, so we're going to start with yours because it's much more tame than mine.
Okay.
Yours. Florida man asks police to remove mugshot from Facebook after theft, only for them to replace it with his booking photo.
That's funny. That's a troll.
And then mine, if you are squeamish, skip ahead like 30, 45 seconds, because otherwise, ooh boy. Florida deputies have arrested a man for attempting to perform a castration inside his Highlands County home. When they arrived, I can't pronounce that last name, told a deputy he had just performed a castration on a man and encountered major issues. Deputies found the victim on the bed, bleeding heavily. 2 vastly different birthdays, man.
What in heaven's name was he thinking?
I don't know. And it was a 74-year-old man that did it.
But I mean, who would willingly be like, oh yeah, just, castrate me in your own house. Chill.
I don't know. I don't know what the story behind it was. I don't know if the person was willing. I don't know if he kidnapped the man and did it. I don't know.
Yeah. because I cannot imagine them being willing.
Yeah, I don't fucking know.
Dude, man, you guys should do that who are listening and drop us in those comment sections or in those DMs because we would love to hear them.
Yeah, tell us your Florida man stories for your birthday. Drop it in the Instagram DMs or the YouTube comments. I don't know. Just let us know because we're curious.
Yeah.
Let us know if it's more tame than Blue's or a lot less tame than mine.
Yeah, we'll have to put that in the caption of this Instagram post for this episode.
Yeah. It's already in the notes, so it's going in the description.
Cool. But yeah, that's kind of all I had to say about the Promised Neverland.
Yeah, that's all I got too.
Cool. What do we got next week?
Next week, what can probably be described as the reason that this whole podcast exists.
Mm-hmm.
We have the first season of Chihayafuru, which could technically be classified as a sports anime, even though it's not about a sport, it's about a card game that acts like a sport.
Yeah, I am so excited to rewatch this. I haven't actually rewatched it in probably over a year and a half.
Not only that, but you also haven't finished the third season.
I haven't. And I know that as soon as I watch this first season, I'm going to binge the second season and the third season as well consecutively. I've been holding off so I can watch it all in a fresh brain because I know I will not stop once I start. Same as what happened with Haikyuu and Free. I started watching them and continued watching them.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's going to end up happening with me too.
Yeah.
Because actually, you never started the third season because I was ragging on you about it while you were streaming that you never started.
Yeah, no, I didn't because I'm shite at watching things week to week, even if I absolutely love them.
Well, not only that, but I think you said you figured the third season was going to be cringy because that's whenever the romance starts stepping up a little bit.
Yeah, I do have that icky brain thing as well.
But here's the thing, the romance elements of the show are actually good.
Yeah.
Like, I can appreciate it because it's subtle. It's not, like, super heavy. Actually, Arata's really awkward, so... But it's cute.
Yeah.
It's cringy, but cute.
It's those moments that I guess I just empathize with so much because I was such an awkward teenager.
Oh, 100%. Like, that, I could very much put myself in Arata's shoes.
Yeah.
During a lot of that, so I get it, man.
Yeah.
I get it.
Every time...
But I'm very happy to rewatch this.
Every time I think of, like, awkward romantic teenage encounters, I have that scene in my head of Harry Potter and I think it's either the Goblet of Fire or the Order of the Phoenix, where Cho Chang is, like, in the table next to him at the Great Hall, and he goes to smile at her, but he forgets that he's got a mouthful of pumpkin juice and just spills it all down his front. And every time I think of that, like oh my god, I have to skip through that part every time it comes on. I can't watch it.
Well, I mean, there's a reason why I have you labeled as Skip Chan in my Discord. It's just because you are the first person to skip anything that remotely inconveniences your brain on the romance side of things.
Yeah, if it's mildly cringe, I just cannot handle it. Especially high school cringe or teenage cringe. I feel like there's an element of it just being like, I wasn't very romantically inclined when I was a teenager. I just didn't give a shit. I was modeling internationally as a teenager. Romance was not anywhere near on my brain.
I can see that.
So there's an element of, like, I don't have the nostalgia factor that a lot of people have. But then also, because I was so awkward and I have so many cringy memories of, like, I am at a modeling meeting, this person I'm supposed to impress because they're trying to hire, because I want them to hire me for a job, and I've just spilled everything all down my front, or I've just stuck my foot in my mouth, or I walked for a living. That's what I did. Models, they just walk down a catwalk, and I would trip over my own feet. And it's like... Great. Cool. Cringe. Don't want to know about it. Those are memories I don't want to relive. Thank you very much for sparking them back in my brain.
You see, I guess I never really had, like, the awkward romance phase because my high school career started with me going into high school in a long-term relationship where I got cheated on, got into another long-term relationship that lasted 3.5 years, then got cheated on again.
Aww.
So, that's my high school romance history. So never got the awkward part of it because my relationship history just fucking sucks. So maybe that's why I don't feel it as harshly, but also I'm a hopeless romantic, man.
Yeah.
I enjoy romance.
And I'm not. I mean, I don't mind a romance, but, like, I feel like if somebody, did the thing of, like, coming to your door and knocking with a box of chocolates and a bouquet of flowers, I would just feel really awkward.
Yeah, especially now, because 1, COVID, what the fuck
Yeah.
are you doing? But 2, how the fuck did you find my house, mate? Like, that's fucking awkward.
Yeah.
But I don't know. In anime, I let it go because it's anime. It's a trope. I get it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm much more of a, I want to split the bill. I can open the door. Like, the first person who gets the door should open the door for the other person. That, like, I'm so, like, I mean, I guess I just grew up around a lot of guys, so I never really considered myself one of the girls.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I get treated in the chivalrous, traditional feminine way, it feels uncomfortable to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's anything wrong with being treated like that. It's just not how I'm used to being treated.
I can see it.
Yeah. Which is weird, considering I was a professional model for a while. But, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It was awkward. It makes me feel uncomfy. And then I don't know how to act, and then I make the situation more awkward and cringe.
Same. Like, anytime anything even remotely throws my brain for a loop, I just become super awkward until I can compose myself.
Yeah.
Like, something like that happened today at work, actually. Mm-hmm. So, I had a customer come in that wanted to paint their pool deck, which it's concrete. Typically, you stain concrete in some shape, form, or fashion. Not only that, but it surrounds a pool.
Yeah.
So, this might not make a lot of sense to a lot of people as to why it fried my brain. But our part-timer, like, shouts into the office because I'm doing all of his tests so we can hire him on full-time because he doesn't have the attention span to do it. And also, he would probably fail all of them. Anyway, so he shouts into the office, and I walk out of the office, or even before I walk out of the office, he's like, hey, this guy wants to put something on his pool deck. And I was like, well, we have solid stain. He's like, no, I want to paint it. And it just immediately fried my brain. I was like, why? Like, why would you want to paint something that's going to have ponding water on it? Like, this isn't adding up. And my brain literally fried to where I literally sat in the chair in the office staring at the iPad for 20 seconds with, like, nothing in my brain. It was like Bradley.exe has stopped working at that point. I blue screen, and then I get up out of the office to just go talk to the dude. Because I'm like, hold up, run that by me again. What? Why do you want to paint it? He's like, oh, I just have 2 different colors on it. So I was like, well, you put a solid stain over it because it looks like a paint, acts like a paint. But it stains the concrete because you can't paint it unless you go with an industrial coating because it can't have, standing water on it, and the water still has to be able to get into the concrete to escape.
Yeah.
And he was just like, oh. And then at that point, my brain was still trying to reboot.
Yeah.
So it was real awkward. I felt real awkward. I'm sure I made him feel real awkward as I just stared at the iPad for at least a solid 20 seconds trying to compute what the fuck he just said to me.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So I was all sorts of lost, and now I just want an animated GIF of me just sitting in a chair staring at an iPad with, like, the buffering symbol on my forehead.
No, I so get that. And because I have ADHD as well, I feel like my attention span isn't normal. My attention span isn't normal. I have attention deficit hyperactive disorder. I feel like my attention isn't normal. No. Dude. And so the amount of times where I the typical, oh, you have ADHD? What's that? A butterfly? That joke?
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, ADHD isn't like that. It's smaller things. It's like walking into a room and forgetting why you were there. It's, constantly wiggling or moving or tapping a pen or, not like... But like the amount of times where I'm in a conversation with someone and they're talking to me and I stop hearing what they're saying because something has distracted me has gotten me in so much trouble.
See, mine's not necessarily that, but you and I have talked about how sensitive our ears are due to
multiple ear
infections.
Really
bad ear infections. And so, therefore, my brain will focus on the loudest noise to where it drowns people out.
Yeah.
So, like, whenever I'm having a conversation with someone, if there's anything that's even remotely louder than their speaking voice, my brain shuts it off.
Yeah.
And I don't hear it, so I have to ask them to repeat it again. And then if there's still loud noises, I don't get it. And I've had it happen to where I've had to ask somebody 3 or 4 times, and then
just nod and smile.
It just gets to the point to where I'm just like, just laugh it off.
How many times can you ask someone
funny.
to repeat themselves before it's awkward?
After the first time, it's
right,
awkward.
Yeah. But yeah, the amount of times where I'm like, or I'll notice something about their face. Like, they'll have an eyelash, or they're, like, I just, like, see their teeth for the first time. I don't know. Like, it can be literally anything. And then I'm thinking about the fact that I'm thinking about that, and that I should be thinking about what they're saying. And because my mind is in, like, 7 different bunny holes, I'm not thinking about I'm not hearing them at all. I don't know what they're saying.
You're too focused on not hearing what they're saying to actually be hearing what they're saying.
100%. Yeah. And it happens all the time. Sometimes it happens when I'm with my psychologist as well, which I know she gets it, because she's a psychologist. But she'll be, like, asking me a question, and then I'll just be like, and she's like, did you hear the question? And I'm like, yes. And she's like, did the question, like, actually intake into your body? And no. No, I didn't.
I wish I had friends that could do that to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm the person that will call people out on that.
Yeah.
To where I'm just like, I'll ask them something, and then they'll just sit there for a second. I'm like, did you hear me? They're like, yes. And I was like, did you understand what I said? No.
Yeah. No comprendo. Yeah, but yeah. I know. It's weird. I'm done talking.
Yeah. So let's talk some more about plugs.
Yeah.
So, if you enjoyed the voice that accompanied me here today, she has a Twitch channel that she never streams to, but it's there if she ever decides to stream again. How long am I going to keep plugging this? Who knows?
We'll see.
But you can find her on there at twitch.tv/Blue Lavender, Instagram and Twitter at Blue Lavender STM if you want life updates, art updates, stuff like that. She also has an Instagram for her dog Tilly at the best Tilly Bean, which if you like doggo photos, please go check it out, because those are being updated like once a day right now, and that makes my heart happy.
Yeah, Miss Bean.
Because Bean is best Bean.
I took a picture of her today that's very unflattering to upload tomorrow, and I'm excited for everyone's reactions.
Yay! Well, I mean, you know you're not going to get a bad reaction out of me and our mutual friend.
No.
So, we'll find something to compliment about it. Don't you worry.
It's a very cute picture. It's just very unflattering. But yeah, if you like Brad, you can find him on Twitch. He's streaming all the dang time now. He is at Brad Carter Gaming there. He's also Brad Carter Gaming on Instagram as well. So nice, consistent platforms for him, them, who, that person over there. And he also runs our handy dandy Instagram and Twitter and all of the socials for our podcast here at BnB Anime across the board. We're also on YouTube at BnB Anime, where I still haven't uploaded the thing because I'm late and behind, and I'm sorry, okay? But yeah, we have also got all of our episodes on there, so you can go and listen to all of our archives on YouTube, and then drop your opinions, thoughts, comments, all that kind of stuff down in the comment section on the YouTube videos or in our DMs. Remember, we are just 2 idiots that like watching anime. We have no qualifications, so we love to hear your guys' opinions and thoughts as well, so that we can like bounce ideas off of each other of people who enjoy anime in the anime community. That's what we do here. And also, if you have any thoughts and opinions or ideas of what we should cover in the future, also drop those down in the comments or in those DMs. We love to hear from you. Yeah, we also have a website. Forgot about that. Our website is www.bnbanime.com, where we have all of our archived episodes, as well as links to your favorite listening platform, as well as behind-the-scenes information on both Brad and I, links to our IMDb pages where you can get caught up on all of our voice acting, producing, directing, credit things that we've been doing. Very excited. And friends of the podcast as well, all super duper exciting on the website.
Yeah. So, thank you all so much for listening. Blue and I greatly appreciate it. Next week, Chihaya Faru. But until then, we'll catch y'all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.